Yes! Welcome, everyone. My name is Ivy Ramirez, and with me is my co-creator, Marlene Gamble, and this is another episode of Fuck Customer Service.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how people would receive the first one, but turns out the feedback was actually pretty good.
We had somebody say that I speak so fast.
You do.
I apparently, don't pop my T's when I speak. I say apparently, or I say definitely, and it's like it's not definitely, it's definitely, and I don't pop. Yeah, I don't pop that T as hard though, and it's
pop your T's, pop your T's.
But it's funny that the question that we asked at the beginning of that episode is, what the fuck was high school for? And all the teachers or anybody. All the teachers or anybody who cares about grammar and proper communication is just like,
dude.
Like, this is why.
You are why.
But yesterday I had a call. I was paying my phone bill, and I had a call where I was actually tested a little bit. Like I was put in a position where I have to put like my money where my mouth is when it comes to being patient, because this lady, oh my gosh, she took my card number I think like 5 or 6 times, and the only thing that I kept thinking of was, okay, is this really the phone company, or is this like now something else? Because I'm like, I've said it to you multiple times,
right?
You heard me. I'm like clearly saying these numbers. And she just kept saying like, oh, sorry, I need your card number again. Can you give me your card number again? And it's like, bro.
I would have been so scared. That the first time she wrote it down. The second time would have been like confirmation that you gave it to her right. And then it's like the third time it was because she couldn't get it processed in her computer. And now she was really fucked.
Yeah, and that's where I'm just like, I could have been upset and just said like, you know what, I need to speak to your manager because I don't know what the fuck you're doing. I don't know if it's your first day, but now I'm fearing that you're going to use my information for something else. It feels like a scam, especially on the phone. It has that, like, it creates that emotion inside us where we're untrusting of this transaction now because it's not going as smoothly as promised or as expected rather. And
yeah.
But even then though, it feels like I even though I was getting, I don't want to say annoyed, but it was like I was starting to question whether or not this was legit or not. I still had that opportunity within myself to like make a choice. Like, do I get upset about her asking you for the 5th or 6th time what my card number is? Or do I just, have patience with her and understand that sometimes, even with me, I've had some people ask me if I like what part of the country they're calling to because of my accent and they can't understand what I'm saying, and I'm like, really? Like, how much more inflected do I need to say my words? Like, I'm here in America with you, guy. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
So, it was like that type of this choice that I had to make in the moment where it's like, do I get upset or do I just have understanding because I've kind of been there too? And she did have an accent, like she did sound like she was maybe somewhere else, and that's what made me be a little bit more compassionate, I guess. But she could have been here in the States.
Yeah, I try whenever I have like those phone calls and you have to pay. I try to like figure out where they are, just because of all the scammer calls and stuff. Not that I don't believe them, because obviously I'm the one calling to pay my bill, but it's like, I like to know where they are, so it's like, oh man, it's getting so hot in California right now, I'm about to kick on the AC, and then usually that opens up the line for them to tell me where they are. If you build that relationship with the person, it might actually ease their ease their anxiety that they have, like, oh my gosh, I just messed up 3 times. I'm going to have to ask her again because the computer's not acting right, or my screen decided to refresh, and I don't know how they're going to take it.
Yeah. I think that's always been a benefit, or that's definitely one of the benefits of working from home, is having your own computer to where you have your Wi-Fi, you have your monitors, you have everything set up the way that you want, and you have a cleaner experience. I think that's like been so beneficial to people who have that type of setup anyway.
Yeah.
But going back to what I was saying about that call, like that definitely called into question of, you know, do I lash out, or am I just patient? And that inspired like this thought in me, where I started to think of like people who say they never had a choice when they lash out, and they just they put focus into the situation. Like they say, oh, it was out of my control. It is what it is. I'm just this way. And it's like, it's a phrase that gets used that, or phrases rather, that get used that remove accountability. Mm-hmm. And it's like, there kind of is always a choice. Like you have a choice. And I know that you can't really say that about everything, right? So I'm sure there'll be people who say, oh, well, being raped or being killed or being an orphan or all this, like that's not planned stuff, and what am I supposed to learn from it? And it's not that you have to learn something from everything, right? But if you follow the trail back to it, like there is a way that you can either help others deal or prevent it from happening again, or something to where you're coming to like some sort of solution. Yeah. And that making you stronger in a sense.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I found this like little side rant on Reddit here, and it kind of ties in with that. It says, I'm just going to read it. It says, I don't give a shit about who has it harder than me. Sure, I have a roof over my head, food on my table, clothes, running water, education, family. I acknowledge the fact that I am severely lucky to have these things, but it doesn't make me feel any less valid. I am tired of hearing it does. Oh, at least you're not in the Ukraine. Yeah, 100%. At least I'm not in the Ukraine, but I don't give a shit. I agree, some may have it harder, some not as much, but I don't give a fuck. It's not a fucking competition, and it never will be. And I mean, he's or she is actually like 100% correct. I mean, it doesn't invalidate you from
feeling your frustrations or feeling your emotions. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is, like, for instance, I had a friend who was raped, and I know this is probably a heavier subject than like people expect right at the beginning, but the perspective that she took from this experience wasn't, oh, you know, I'm a survivor of that, and I'm going to help other people cope with it and like turn it into a positive thing. The choice that she made was, oh, I'm going to tell people my story in the hopes that they lavish me with gifts. And it's like, but what happens when the gifts stop? Like there's no growth that is occurring there.
Maybe it started with one person. Like she told her story, she was able to get it out, and then like they said, oh, well, let me help you with XYZ. Let me help you buy groceries, or let me help you with the place to stay. Mm-hmm. It's like a habit, or you get that rush of like, oh,
the attention.
If I get this, the attention. It's like that dopamine rush. Like, I like this, you know, even though it was a bad situation that happened. But if I tell this story, then I'm gonna get stuff. It's like the habit forming. Yeah. And I mean, going back to your call, it's kind of like we almost expect to have a bad experience when we're on the line or when we're waiting, listening to that music, you know? Yeah. When we're sitting there listening to that on hold music, and it's like, okay, this is though.
I make
some of it is pretty rough.
I make those dances like while you're holding. I'm that person, but
right.
Not the hustle, but okay.
Yeah, I do. I put the hustle to every song. It works. It honestly works. Oh.
Go on, you're saying.
But it's like you almost already expect to have a shit time. It's like, oh,
like you dread making the call. Like you're just like,
yes, like I have to set this up, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
Some people probably even take the whole day off. Like, you know what? I have bills that I have to set up. I'm not coming in today because I got to make a few phone calls. And then people are understanding about that. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead. You know, take a personal day or whatever. Or like even when you go to the DMV, you take a personal day because you know you're going to be there all day. Everybody knows you're going to be there all day.
Yeah.
So what happened to your friend?
Well, what the way that it happened too, though, I mean, and I don't mean this to sound insensitive, but the way that it happened too, I feel like she kind of could have prevented it, only because, and I know these things happen suddenly, so you can't always think, but she wasn't in the best, like she didn't live in the best of neighborhoods, and she already was actively around people that weren't that were unsavory people. And the thing is, like, if you already have that knowledge and you choose to be out, you know, late at night with this type of crowd, like it like you have to take some sort of accountability. There comes like you get to a line where it's like, okay, I can either do this and be mindful of the potential danger, or I can decide to do it regardless and not give a fuck. It all comes down to perspective. So like the point is, there is a choice. At some point or another, you had a choice and it led you down this path. And now that you're so far down this path, you might not see it, but you still do have a choice, especially in the moment when things anger you or things upset you or surprise you. Like, take a few moments to think before you react, because a lot of people get this habit. Even myself, a few years ago, I was very, very much a reactive person, but I saw what I gained from those instances. In me doing that, all I was doing was hurting myself. Like, I experienced that. And so now I take that extra moment to like wait and really reflect on what is occurring, because if you just act, then you're either going to regret what you say. If it's an argument with someone that you care about, you're either going to regret what you say, or you're going to do something impulsively that also you might regret later. And it's not a way to, it's a very fight or flight type of lifestyle that doesn't serve you at all.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like also, I mean, I know it's a harder subject, but like when you're in an abusive relationship and you feel like you can't leave because one, you were probably conditioned not to work, or you're conditioned not to, you know, leave the house, or whatever it is. Because, I mean, every situation is different, but I mean, if you actually are able to leave the situation, but then you choose to go back to it, I mean, I always feel like that's kind of like,
that's
you don't
choice.
Completely. It's a choice, yeah. Like you've already taken your whole situation and you've moved it out. You've left. You did it. But then, like, your abuser is still able to contact you and still talk to you and still manipulate you even though you're outside.
Right.
That's not helping you in any way.
Yeah.
You know, it's still a choice. Like, you have to completely cut ties, like completely let everything go to be able to move on and make the change that you want.
Yeah, it's almost like how they say about, you know, being successful or losing weight or anything. Like, it's a lifestyle change. You either want to stay shackled to the pain and all of this chaos and dysfunction, or you choose to remove yourself from this type of environment.
Well, yeah, it's like if you're trying to change your situation, or you know, okay, like you have a group of friends and then all of a sudden drugs are introduced. Mm-hmm. But you have yet to partake in it, right? Mm-hmm. I know that's like social pressures and whatnot, but it's like, peer pressures. But that's where your choice is. We've all seen how drugs react on people, and I have yet to see personally. I mean, we see it on movies and whatnot when they're successful, they're in the back room, they're doing a line of coke, and you're like, oh my god, that's so cool. But most people
That's so cool.
is like, but you're not there. You're not successful, and you think doing a line of coke is going to make you look fancy.
I was wondering where you were going with that, because I'm like, are you encouraging people to do coke now?
No, but I mean, it's like, it's
Coke,
a choice.
Coke is cool.
It's a choice.
I'm kidding. Don't. Well, do what you will, but we're not saying Coke is cool. But okay, go on.
Yeah, Coke is not cool, but I mean, that's how they portray it in movies.
Right.
But, and then, like, what I'm trying to get at is, like, when you're trying to get out of that lifestyle, like, okay, you did go down that rabbit hole and you started doing drugs with your friends, and now you want to get cleaned up. One of their main things is to take you out of the situation. You either go to a facility or you go to, like, a center, a ranch, or whatever. And they take you away from that situation. So when you get out, your choice is, do I keep away from those people that I know got me into this situation?
That will trigger you to relapse and do it again.
Yeah, that will probably trigger you, or they'll start making fun of you, like, oh, you're back, you got clean, oh, you think you're better than us. And you're like, no, I'm one of you. This is where I came from. And then there you go. You're back in it.
Yeah.
You just spent all this time away feeling healthier. You know you're healthier, but then you fall right back in it. You have to completely take yourself out of the situation.
And commit to a different lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah, commit to a different lifestyle. Exactly. Or else, what was it all for?
Yeah, and that's actually something that I did with this friend who, unfortunately was raped. She had invited me to one of, like, her friend's house where we were just going to go hang out, watch music videos, because that's something we did in the 90s and early 2000s. Like, we would just go hang out at someone's house and watch music videos. This guy pulls a gun out and is just, showing it around. And it's just like, yeah, look, and points it directly at my face. And I'm thinking, oh my God, is this really how my story ends? I don't know what, like, I was so shocked by it that I felt like one of those commercials about how marijuana is bad and then the kid, like, shoots his face off with a rifle. Like that, I felt like I was in that I was that commercial right then. Yeah. Like, it wasn't like, oh, from across the room. Like, he had that gun maybe an arm's length away from my face. And I was like, oh shit. Like, oh my God. And, but see, I had made the choice to go with my friend that day. Like, I could have, knowing her crowd, I could have been like, you know what, that's not for me. But I did anyway. And so I don't blame the guy who had the gun pointed at my face, right? Not to say that was okay, but, like, it was my choice to have put myself in that position to begin with. And so afterwards, obviously, I just decided this isn't my vibe. This isn't my group of my type of crowd. I'm just not going to hang out with them anymore. And we did end up losing touch because once you've adopted a different lifestyle, it's very difficult to have other people adopt to the same lifestyle. If they're wanting to stay in that, it's a choice they're making. And you can't feel bad about it, right? Like, you can't feel bad about not being able to change them because we all have our own path. We all have our own experience that it doesn't have to be the same. One size does not fit all.
Yeah, and I get, like, some people, they might have the argument of, like, oh, well, when you're addicted, you have no control. Like, that's all you're thinking about is that addiction.
Yeah.
And that might be true, but it's like, you also have that other side of you where you want to be clean. Like, you don't want to do that anymore. You see that it's tearing up your family. You see what's going on. You see that you have to, like, rip people off all the time and you're hurting your family, stealing and lying and cheating. But it's like, once you're clean, we still have that addictive personality.
They have to want it for themselves. If they don't want to leave that substance or leave that behavior or leave that crowd, they're not going to do it. You can choose to put yourself in that situation where you're now feeling this anger, or you can learn from it.
I always start off wanting to burn a village. Burn Burn the bitch down is my first reaction. Now, when my son comes home, he's like, oh, somebody, was making fun of me or they were picking on me. I was like, which one was it? Like, what am I going to go do? Exactly. What am I going to go do? Slap some kid? Like, what the hell? What are you messing with my kid for? Shoot, I hate going outside. I hate leaving the house because it just feels like every time I leave the house, it already cost money.
There was a meme about that where it was like people now after the whole, pandemic hit and everything, that it's like, okay, well, I could stay inside or I can go outside. And the minute I go outside, I know that I'm about to blow $300.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is, though. The whole idea of saving money is completely blown out the door.
That's like when you start a diet. You're starting a diet and you're like, okay, I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to go down the produce aisle and I'm going to do this. And then you see the baked goods because surprisingly, they're right next to the fucking
they
produce.
Are.
I don't even understand. Okay,
why?
That is
some
one
shady shit right there.
Yeah.
That is like shade. That, you know what? Fuck Walmart and your super center. Why do you do that? I think Target does it too, right?
Well, I'm just talking about any grocery store in general. Why do you have the baked goods next to the I will never understand that. Like
right at the end of the produce section when you're making that loop.
Yep. And you're like,
yeah.
Oh, look at this cake. Oh, look at these cookies. Oh my God, these pastries are delicious. Or they look amazing. And I'm just like,
oh my God, look at all these bagels. I'm going to get the bagel and then I'm going to get the cream cheese and then I'm going to get the regular cream cheese. And you forgot about all your damn vegetables that you just had meal prepped in your head. Like, oh yeah, I can do this with like a little bit of olive oil and some salt. That'll be good. And then it's like, carbs.
No, and see, but again, so it comes back to choice. I will go through the produce aisle and loop back the way I came in. Like I will avoid that area completely. Like I'm just like, nope, we just came to get this and that's all we're getting. Now we're gonna go to the meat section. Let's not. Cause
you're magical. That is a magical trait right there. Dude, right now I believe you fart glitter.
Fuck.
Bro, like seriously, how do you like deter yourself like that? It's like,
oh, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy at all. Like I have things that I indulge in, but the thing is that I still have that knowledge and that mindset of, okay, this is something I'm choosing to do. It's not like I say, oh, I don't know what happened. I suddenly ate all these pastries and they just are in me somehow. Like, the fuck? Like, no, I chose to fucking do that.
No, you see, it's not like that. That's not how it goes down. It's more like, oh shit, somebody ate all my cookies. It's like, you fucking ate all the cookies.
Yeah, where did my day go? Oh my God. You chose to watch like 6 seasons of something. Like, come on.
Right? The Netflix asked you, are you still here? They gave you the judgment. Like, bro, you're still here? I think that's what they want to say. I'm going to lay here in my Cheeto dust. I don't care what the fuck you say. Play the next episode already. God.
It was a little heavier this time. Like, I don't know if that was too traumatic for some people to hear, but I mean, shit happens. Like we do have these moments in our lives where we're presented with an option of, do I react this way or react that way? And it, so long as you can get to the point where you start recognizing that you have a choice, I think that in itself is a huge step to overcome. You do have a choice.
Yeah, if we didn't mention it last time, if you want to give us a topic to rant about, or if you want to be a guest on our podcast, our website is fcxsvc.com. If you know us personally, because a lot of you do, just message us on Facebook or something, and we'll make this happen.
So yeah, you can't expect to see things improve without improving yourself. The journey starts within, so be decent.
Make better choices.